My name is William Suh. I'm an interventional cardiologist at the Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center. So the Edwards Sapien 3 device, which is the third generation valve from Edwards Life Sciences, was just FDA approved on June 17th last month. So the FDA approval actually came prematurely. It was 6 months ahead of schedule, or what was expected. And so we don't anticipate that we'll have the valve for the next few months, but hopefully in the next 2 to 3 months we'll be able to have it ready for patient care. So Sapien 3 is an exciting new valve because it's the first device that actually has a mechanism in which to prevent paravalvular regurgitation. So unlike the other generation devices, there's an outer skirt, a fabric skirt on the outside of the stent that can actually help reduce paravalvular regurgitation. And we know that paravalvular regurgitation has an impact on mortality in long-term follow-up. So another huge advantage of the Sapien 3 device is that it is a lower profile delivery system. Our current delivery system for a 26 millimeter valve would be a 18 French expandable sheath. And with Sapien 3, the 26 millimeter valve size is able to be delivered through a 14 French expandable sheath. So many more patients could be treated from the transfemoral access route. Using a less bulky delivery system definitely will have an improvement in the stroke rates. And that was actually seen in the 30-day outcomes on the Sapien 3 trial, which was presented at the ACC earlier this year. And the stroke rates are well below 3% currently. So in comparison to the core valve system, the Sapien 3 still is a balloon expandable transcatheter heart valve. So the way that the valve is deployed is different. The different sizes, the Sapien 3 will have a 20 millimeter size option, whereas core valve starts at 23 millimeters on the low end. But core valve does have a 31 millimeter size on the upper end, and Sapien 3 has a 29 millimeter valve size on the upper end. Core valve just also was able to have FDA approval of their next generation device, which is the Evolute R, which actually features a fully retrievable and retractable system. But it does not have that mechanism to help prevent paravalvular regurgitation like the Sapien 3 valve does. So, both valves actually are very good in their performance and their outcomes. We do not have a head-to-head trial comparing both devices. And so the decision to make between the two devices is difficult, but they are both associated with very good outcomes. I do not know what the pricing will be. So, the Sapien 3 trial was actually part of the Partner 2 trial, and the data that was presented at the ACC in the spring of this year also reported on 30-day mortality and stroke in the intermediate risk patient population. So these are patients that are surgical candidates but are intermediate risk for mortality. The intermediate data is actually very encouraging. The mortality in that group actually is about 1%. So it's very encouraging that that they have such a low mortality in the surgical or in the TAVR arm. So it's yet to be determined whether or not in long-term follow-up that the intermediate risk patients are going to do as well with surgery. But that's the data that we're all waiting for, and it's going to be exciting.